Hello everyone. In this session, let's discuss the debt recovery process in India. Commercial banking has been the hub of financial system in India. Banks are termed as growth facilitators and have been playing a pivotal role in economic development. All these banks and financial institutions provide major credit to all the sections of the economy. They should function in accordance with the guidelines or lending norms issued by the RBI. The banks and the financial institutions insist for security for the repayment of loan. The loan entitlements procedure for sanctioning loan security issues are exclusively governed by the RBI norms. By exercising control over the flow of money from the banks and financial institutions, the RBI promotes balanced growth. Let's quickly understand the procedure involved in lending and repaying. Defining what is a loan first. A loan is an agreement or an understanding between the bank and the borrower. There are several laws applicable to all banking transactions depending upon their nature. They are general laws like the Law of Contract, Transfer of Property Act, Specific Relief Act and Specific Performance Act. When a borrower fails to repay money to the bank, what is the recourse to the banker? What the bank can do for recovering the loan is to file a civil suit earlier. The remedy available to the lenders has been to file an ordinary money suit for recovery against the defaulting borrower or to file a summary suit. As the civil courts in India are saddled with the number of cases, there is an issue of inevitable delay. The banks could not recover its dues effectively, which resulted in liquidity problems. Another option to the lender was to apply for foreclosure of mortgage. These two options consumed several years in litigation as the delay in the disposal of such cases was deplorable. The financial crisis of 2006 has raised alarms for those connected with the financial world. Various financial reforms have been carried out from time to time to control the growth of NPAs. Owing to the NPA growth, banks and the FIs, that is the financial institutions, even resorted to muscle power for recovery of their loans. The Supreme Court strongly expressed its intent that banks have right to recover loans, but only through legal means. A strong need was therefore felt for judicial reforms to ensure the rights of lenders lending money to the corporates and individuals and are adequately protected from delinquent borrowers. Narsimham Committee had considered the setting up of the special tribunals with special powers for adjudication and speedy recovery. In 1981, Tiwari Committee had examined the legal difficulties faced by banks and financial institutions and suggested remedial measures including certain changes in the law. Consequently, the Recovery of Debts Due to Banks and Financial Institutions Act 1993, in short DRT Act, was passed. This act eased the pressures on the courts at an all India level. DRT is deemed to be very effective to redress the grievances of the lenders. However, there are certain problems in DRT Act in 1993. With the enactment of the DRT Act, the banking sector expected that most of the NPAs could be easily recovered as against through civil courts. However, on account of realization of the NPAs, the banks and the financial institutions were still facing problems relating to liquidity and asset liability mismatch as the assets were blocked for considerable time. Despite contributing special tribunals like DRT under RDBFI Act 1993, the banks could not recover its dues to the expected level. This led to further reforms. To curtail the delay in adjudication, the government has enacted SARFAESI Act 2002, which gave a stimulus in the form of legal provisions empowering banks with more powers to recover the assets blocked in NPAs. Coming to the SARFAESI Act 2002, this act gives powers to the banks to seize the property. This act enables the bank to give notice in writing to the defaulting borrower to discharge the liabilities within 60 days. If the borrower fails to comply with the notice, the bank may take recourse to one or more of the following measures. Number 1, take the possession of security for the loan. Number 2, sale or lease or assign the right over the security. Number 3, manage the security or appoint a person to manage the same. This act has been a major factor inspiring the health of the banks, as it has brought down the NPAs to substantially lower levels. Securitization concept has been adopted from the American financial system. This has been enacted with the objective of regulating securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of security interest created in the form of secured creditors. The Act provides for three alternative methods for recovery of NPAs: 1. Securitization, 2. Asset reconstruction, and 3. Enforcement of security interest without intervention of the court. Coming to the applicability, the law is applicable only if the amount of NPA loan account exceeds 1 lakh rupees, NPA loan account is more than 20% of the principal interest, and NPA should be backed by securities charged to the banks by way of hypothecation, mortgage or assignment, and the secured assets are not hit by any other code of civil procedure. The secured asset must not be a lien on any goods, money or security given by or under the Indian Contract Act 1872 or any other law in force. All these acts have been grossly inadequate to solve the problems of especially corporate NPAs. As the legal framework does not aid the lenders in effective and timely recovery, it is causing a strain on the credit system. Hence, a new law has been passed by the government which will facilitate time-bound insolvency process and liquidation. With this, let me wind up with a session on debt recovery process in India. Thank you for watching.